Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. So glad to have you back on the live stream this week. It's so great to welcome you to my studio here and spend another evening with you on this, the 108th episode of the Paint Party live stream. So good to have you. Thanks for joining me. As you know, this live stream is really laid back. Pop in and pop out. Stay as long as you'd like. You can participate in the live stream by commenting, asking questions on the comments wherever you're watching. This is live streamed to YouTube and then syndicated across a variety of platforms, so I'm so glad that you have joined me this evening. All right, this live stream is my Learn to Paint journey. I've been painting now about 2 years, well, about 3 years, give or take, learning to paint, basically using YouTube tutorials at first, and now really continuing to push the envelope every week here on the live stream, bringing you along for the journey. So don't hesitate to ask questions, to engage in the comments on the live stream. And I enjoy engaging with you, answering those questions to the best of my ability, and taking your suggestions even as we go through the evening. All right, let's jump right into the live stream this evening. It's so good to see several familiars joining right away. Lola, it's always good to see you. So glad to have you on the live stream. Thanks for joining, as always. It is warm here. My studio is actually in the attic of the building I live in, so it is a bit warm. I have the windows open and the fans on, which is not the best for drying paint, but we make it work. Although they say there's a potential of thunderstorms this evening, severe storms, and we've had a lot of smoke from the Canadian fires the last several days, and so it would be great if that would clear out, but we will see what happens in the next couple of hours. Hopefully we can get a breeze coming through the top of the building, because that would be real nice. I think I've just looked and it's about 78 degrees in my apartment downstairs, so it's probably about 80, 82 up here. So just enough to be uncomfortable, not enough to be just stifling, but I'm grateful to live in this area. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to switch you over to my other camera here as I move the cell phone camera around. That way we can put that on the canvas, and you can see what we are doing, and I'll show you what we're doing this evening. This is going to be a fun one, I think. All right, let's see. Have to back this up a little bit because we're painting portrait as opposed to vertical, or horizontal, I mean. So let's see. Not really able to zoom out. I can zoom in, but I can't really zoom out on this using the cell phone. So we'll just do the best we can. There we go. All right, I think we have it set. Let me show you what we have here. Oh, there we go. There is the palette, and tonight we are doing this really cute painting of this seal. I'm super excited to dive into this, and we'll get started. On the left you see kind of my schematic or graph. I can't remember what it's called. It's not really a graph, but my way of assisting my drawing, my grid. I guess it's kind of a grid to assist in drawing in the fundamental composition of the painting. So that's what we have. I see a few more people popping in. Welcome to the live stream. So glad to have you. You can participate in the live stream in the comments on whatever platform you are joining us on. So feel free to do that. All right, and tonight we are going to start with burnt umber. I am moving my... And what we want to do is take a little bit of this burnt umber and draw in some... Hey there, Bob G. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're staying cool down south, although I heard the rest of the country's getting kind of a, or much of the country's getting a heat flux. I think Europe is getting a really bad one as well. So far, we're staying in the 80s here in the mountains, so that is 80s Fahrenheit is really not bad at all. But we have been dealing with the forest fire smoke, which is really tough it strains your eyes, and so you feel exhausted all the time, kind of like with humidity elsewhere. All right, we're going to just start to draw in the framework of this, or the lines of this cute little guy. Oh, he comes in a lot faster than we have kind of the shadow where he is. Hey there, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you. All right, let's see. And then here, we'll bring his head comes out about there. Cute little snout. I love his little pudgy self. We come up here. His flipper kind of. "95 today, rising to 100 by Wednesday. Drove me into the pool." I bet it did, especially because your temp may not be 95, but your heat index is probably up over 100. Oof, don't miss it at all. Okay, now we kind of got the, I'm going to sit back in this, take a real quick progress photo, and we'll continue on. We will then what we want to do now, I think, is lay out some of the shadows lights and shadows spots. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't finish. That may be why he looks a little weird. Because he's got to have another fin over there. Okay. I want people to feel when they see this painting like they just want to squeeze his chubby little cheeks and give him a cuddle. That's what I want the feeling to be for this painting. So, okay. Now let's do this. And we're mixing really dark. As dark as we can mix it. And we'll start to put in the establish our shadow space over here. We'll obviously have to put multiple layers, but we want to start that. And I think I'm going to get rid of this light to the edge. New York is hot, humid, smoky, mosquito infested, and waiting for the crickets to show up. Then we'll have a full house. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we're getting the same. I don't know what latitude you're at, but probably close to the same as us. We don't get the humidity, fortunately, because we're not near the water, but definitely getting the Canada smoke coming down. And yeah, it is not pleasant. I feel so bad for the people that are living in the middle of that. It's just really tough. So, all right, we have some here. Then I want to go and put some shadow there, right against his fat little belly. And then this will disappear into the out as we go out, because I want the focal point to be him. So we'll put a background in here, or start to, kind of a dark background, and he can stand out against it. Oh, sorry, the photo is a seal. Let me enlarge that, see if it helps any. Oh, I lost my connection. There it is. That'll help. Yeah, if you're watching on a phone or a smaller device, it is difficult. Apologize for that. It's a seal just sitting on the edge of some sort of a dock, it looks like. So we'll go just put in some of this darker background. I can adjust that as I'd like. Just kind of scrub in and under painting. Even though I toned this one, it'll take a couple of layers. I do want to kind of bring in the water behind his head because I think it will draw the eye up there, and I just love that color of the kind of turquoise color. So we'll see if we can mimic that. All right. Been working on a commission this week, so it's nice to just do something that's with commissions. I don't do many of them because I don't really like to do them. I always feel pressured to make it as perfect as possible. And so I like painting like this because it's a little more relaxed and I don't feel the same pressure. Like I don't feel like I need to make this be anything. Like if it doesn't turn out, then it just doesn't turn out, or so I don't know. Let me see. I wonder if I can mix a little turquoise or aqua green with this blue and see if we can get the color we want. I kind of like that. Yeah, I think that kind of blue-green behind there. I think that's what we're going to do. Put in some really stark blue-green. I love turquoise, kind of this turquoise watercolor. So we'll just put that in behind him. We'll try to put the brightest spot up by his head, and then we'll darken it around the edges. As we do. And this will all be out of focus anyway, so just want an idea. Wow, this is drying super fast on the canvas. Super, super, super fast. Just blend right in if we can, as much as we can. Eventually that'll give us some good coverage. Okay, kind of gives the idea of what we're going for. Hey, Olan, good morning. Thank you. I hope you have a great Tuesday. It has been a good Monday. It's evening now. Where I am, it is 6:20 p.m. So it's just about dinner time. So it has been a good one. I will never do a commission. Too much pressure. I feel ya. Yeah, the only commissions that I have done in the last 3 years have been for acquaintance friends, friends or friends of friends that, like from social media, that have just approached me and said, we really want you to do this painting. And I am really grateful. The one I'm working on they're good friends, and it's a significant project, but I think that even sometimes makes it more difficult because it's friends who I respect and who I love, and I want it to be the best it can be. And so, but the painting that I'm doing is very challenging, and so that is also good because it's definitely giving me a challenge. All right, I'm just kind of going here. We're going to put in some of the light spots. Again, this is kind of just underpainting so we get form. To kind of give some form. Then we'll go in with details in the fur. If we get the fur in right, then when we do some kind of okay. I think his lightest spots are going to be up here, which should be right. There and there, somewhere in there. Yeah, speaking of going back to the subject of commissions, eventually I'd like to get where I can just turn down 99.999% of them and say, it's not like I have tons of commissions coming in right now anyway, but that I can say, no, the only things for sale are the things that I already do and that I already paint. But we'll see. Now I want to take this in, some of this. I have done one or maybe two abstracts. I'm not as drawn to. I'm drawn to them, but I don't. As far as like painting, I wanted to really um, focus on my like being able to paint and draw photorealistically. So I have not done a lot of that. I do landscapes mostly. Most of what I do is landscapes, actually. Um, and that's what I'm drawn to mostly. So we'll probably do more of that in the future. Um, but I'm really trying to broaden over the last 2 or 3 years that I've done this. I've been trying to broaden my skills, because then I can always go to abstract. But if you don't have the fundamental skills, then the abstract in my opinion, just becomes ordinary. It's not very interesting, and so that's one reason I don't do it. I have done street scenes. If on my Instagram, I have one in particular I just did that was in Portugal, and so yes, I have done some street painting for sure. All right, let's do some more underpainting. I want to do some just basically take in this kind of reddish brown and do right in we'll just kind of put that in, and then we'll go on the opposite side. So I'm just kind of blocking in the front side and the back side of him. Um, ooh, I put way too much paint on the palette. Oh, there's a bunch of water there. A bunch of basically his where the shadow on him is. So we'll basically come in there. We'll do a bit of this side. There we go. Kind of give him a little. Need to come in a little bit, right in there, down to his ear. It'll just disappear into the background. We want all his little fat rolls in there. Cute little fat rolls. How much is the cost of each of your paintings when you sell it? It depends on the painting and the size. Usually I have when I do sell them, which is very rare. I've only sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 paintings. So I don't sell paintings very often. But usually it depends on the size. And usually that is, sorry, I got distracted. Based, yeah, on the size. And I usually start at $2 per square inch. Depending on the complexity of the subject matter as well. $2 for, that's kind of the base fee. So for example, an 8x10 is 80 square inches. So it would be about starting at $160. Again, depending on the complexity and such. And honestly, like, yeah, it just depends on the subject matter. This is almost kind of like paint by number now. I kind of like how this is coming together. I may keep this fairly, we may not do a lot of detail work on him because I like where it's going. Look how he's coming together. Once we get Bobby, what made you choose this subject? Actually, this has been in my I have a file of reference photos that I want to make paintings from, and this has been, I think just the composition of the reference photo was already almost perfect. Um, and I knew this would challenge me, and so it's been in my to paint folder for a while. I just had not done it. And so every week when I'm preparing for this live stream, I go and look at what I have and what I want to, potentially what I want to paint. And that really helps me narrow down. So yeah, that's how I decided on this subject. I'm going to scoot the camera back a little bit so you can see the full. There you can see he's really starting to come together. All right, now go into our dark, and some of this I want to put some more dark in here. And suggest variations in his, again, his little fat rolls. I think that's what makes him fun, one of the things that makes him fun. So we'll give him some little fat rolls. There we go. All right. And once I get these values in correctly, then it really helps me to be able to do the once the values are correct, then I can, getting the other painting correct is not too, the rest of it is not too tough. Okay, let's go in and really see if we can start to I'm doing a variety of brush strokes up here. We may have to do one more coat to cover the underpainting, but I want to do this so that it gives some interest to the Yeah, if you see the brush work, then it's a lot more interesting. We'll just blend in while the paint is semi-tacky, although it's tacking up real quick, so I'm using a smaller brush than I might just because it's tacking up so quickly. All right. Yeah, I think this is working out real well. So I'm doing the lightest portion of the blue, most turquoise, right around his head. This will also be the brightest point of his, but we'll have the darkest, one of the darkest points touching the lightest points right there, which will draw the eye in, and that will create a much more sophisticated more sophisticated and interesting painting, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to try to do. So let's take, and we'll try to just blend again. So it looks like these backgrounds just kind of blended together. I'm going to put just a little bit of this dark color up here to give us a little, I call it the Olin Mills effect. Those of you that are old enough to remember Olin Mills photography, I don't even know if they still exist, but when I was a kid in the 80s, that's where you'd go to get your pictures taken. And they would do this kind of hazy, I'm gonna diffusion around the faces, and that is kind of what's happening here, if you can see. So we'll just keep putting some background in. Again, we don't want to distract from the main star of the show. Now I can put on pretty heavily, slather on the paint pretty heavy on this side. And we can bring, when we really get the detail done, he will blend, the back side of him will disappear into the shadow here, so that will be good. Again, we don't want a lot of we want the attention up on his face, not on his backside. I think this is setting up to be one of my better paintings. Every once in a while you get started and you're like, oh, this is going to turn out well. Good evening, Mom and Dad. Did you guys get out to your dinner date? Everybody say happy birthday to my mom and dad. Their birthdays are today and tomorrow. And I didn't think they would be able to join the live stream because they were going to dinner, but they must have gotten that done already. And tomorrow I'm going to have cake and ice cream with them up the mountain a little bit. So right before this, I was baking a cake and frosting it. So that was fun. Happy birthday, yes, yes. Oh, we just got home. Great steaks. Oh, I'm so glad. I didn't have steak there, but I wasn't necessarily impressed, but I'm glad you had a great experience. That's nice to be able to do kind of just a special thing periodically. Okay. We are almost, we'll do probably one more coat on the back, on the background, but it dries so quick that we'll be able to really go in and do these quickly. Thanks, Lola. Happy birthday. If I didn't want to run you all off, I'd sing happy birthday, but I'll probably just leave that till tomorrow, because y'all would probably run. I can carry a tune, but I am not a singer. It is not my forte. Not my thing. I sure would like to have one of those creatures to play with in my pool. You periodically have creatures come down to your pool, but they're the four-legged kind, not the finned kind. Yeah, I think unfortunately you probably live a little too far from, well, probably California is where most of those are the only seals I've seen in our country. I don't think Florida has seals. I think it's maybe too humid and hot. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there are seals in Florida naturally. Not natural ones, at least. But who knows? Whoops. Adjusting as we go, y'all. So I apologize about that. There, we got background covered. Our little seal buddy. I don't know what we'll call him. What should we call him? What should we call? Oh, there goes my brush. It's a good thing I'm wearing an apron because it kind of bounced. All right. We should call him Ralph. Haha, yeah. Oregon, they have seals. That makes sense. Bobby says San Francisco has a lot. Yeah, I saw them near San Jose, San Francisco, that area. Um, okay, you say we get them occasionally at Jones Beach Park. Ah, and you're in Florida, right, Bobby? Or near Florida? Jones Beach Park. I don't know that park, but it makes perfect sense. Oh, I was way off. New York. You're in New York. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't think they go as far south as Florida. But Oregon, San Francisco, New York, that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Now, I want to go to this a little bit. Ah, it's a New York State Park. Cool. That makes a lot of sense. Especially if they're in a protected space. I mean, obviously there's natural predators, but they're going to be more protected from. I do think you can find them in warm waters. Yeah, I should look up. Um, and I think there is a difference between sea lions and seals, but I'm just not sure what that is. But yeah, a lot of seagulls and geese. That makes sense. Yeah, that also makes a lot of sense. Okay, now I just need to take a minute to step back because I feel like he's in a really good place. But now which is good because we're an hour in and the underpainting is pretty much done. Now I just need to cover up all my guidelines, and do any level of detail that I want to do. Yeah, I really love him. I really love him a lot. So what I think I need to do is refine some of the dark spots and light spots. And then call him done, because I don't want to overpaint him. But I'm really happy with where he's going. He is really a cutie. Cutie, cutie, patootie. Yeah, much better than the tiger we tried a couple of weeks ago. I love painting wildlife, but don't have the skills. Well, I get that, Bobby. I get it. I get it. Neither do I. I mean, again, I mentioned the tiger. Let me hold him up. I mean, it's okay, but you can tell his mouth and like his eyes are a little too close and his mouth is a little too long and a little too wide, and he's kind of like looks like he got punched on the right side of his face and it's all swole up. So yeah, I totally get it. Like that's one reason I chose not to do right away, to do abstract or kind of impressionist style, because I wanted to learn how to, not that I'll ever be great necessarily at wildlife, or honestly people are even worse for me. People are even more difficult, especially if I have a picture of them and know them, because we'll let a little awkwardness go in wildlife. If there's a bird that looks a little wonky or a seal that's a little out of the ordinary, but on a person's face, you instantly know if their nose is out of proportion or something. And so, yeah, that's a totally get it. Totally get it. Anywho, let's see. I want to do. I want to come in here and reestablish some of these points before my guidelines are totally lost. Now what I'm doing is dividing the lights and darks just a little more, making them a little more precise, if that makes sense. I'm just doing some mark making that is, I'm still looking for the lights and shadows, but I'm looking for those lights and shadow shapes that are more precise or more smaller. Again, I kind of want him to disappear into the background a little bit out here. So I want to suggest that there's form, but I also want to give that a place to disappear. So that again, we are drawn up to his face. You'll notice that there is some reflected light here where his fin is wet, or his flipper is wet, and it's reflecting the color of his coat. So I put a little bit of that in here, and I think that just that color, sometimes those are the details that get overlooked that make a difference. So that's why we're doing that. And it also goes along the front of there's some along the front of his flipper. There's a little bit of sunshine, so we just want to give a little bit of that. That is really Are you using sienna or ochre? So I am using some, this is the raw sienna up at the top of my palette here. And then I do have yellow ochre over here. And I have burnt umber right here. So I'm kind of mixing a little bit, I'm kind of mixing them together. This is primarily um, the raw sienna. I have burnt sienna somewhere here, but that's probably a little too orange. Although, maybe not. I don't know. Let me put a little bit of that out. It might be actually interesting. I'm so glad you said that, because I think mixed with the burnt umber, the burnt sienna might actually be a better. Look at that. Thank you, Bobby, just for asking the question. I didn't even have burnt sienna out on my palette, but I think it's actually a better color on the edge here. Then, so we'll go burnt sienna, and then we'll go into the well, there's some yellow ochre, but I want to take that then into the burnt umber. Then that will give us a really cool because yeah, we definitely need the burnt umber, or burnt sienna, I mean. Up here, especially where he's most kind of kissing the sun. Yeah, and then it gets less, whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, the burnt sienna is definitely better. Then we want to go into that same area, a little bit of the burnt umber, because that's still that red tone, but it's definitely less saturated. There. Again, we're really playing kind of a paint by number. And what it should give us in the end is a really cool, it already is rendering like fur. So now we just need to do a blend of all this. His ear is really a very specific shape. Okay, I'm gonna put that up. Now we need to figure out a way to cool down They have fur. Yeah, yes, I believe it is. It just has a lot of oil so that when they go in the water, it's sealed, no pun intended, but it keeps them from becoming too. Okay. We have to just keep going back and forth, back and forth. I think I'm going to switch out my palettes though. My palette. We have about 30, 40 minutes left, so let's see if we can wrap this bad boy up. Okay, we want dark kind of brown. Now I think come in with a smaller brush, and we want to do a little detail work where it matters. Okay, his eye's looking a little weird now. The more I go in to do detail, the worse it looks. So let's see if we can fix that, because that's not going to work. If he has a wonky looking eye, that's going to stand out like crazy. So I think it's because this dark spot by his nose is too dark. So we'll need to do some adjustments. Let's call it Primo. Oh, looks good. Thanks. We are, little by little, we are getting there. Let's see if I can. Confused what's going on here on his. At 11 o'clock, the mouth has come to the left. Has to come to the left. Yes, I agree. Yep. I need to, yes, I'm going to come in, I think, with some of that lighter color and again, some of that burnt sienna and ochre and highlight that, which will make it appear that way. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Now I'm putting in some texture of the fur. So it looks a little more dappled. And I'm kind of experimenting with this because I don't know if it's going to work. Then maybe have to do the same with the... No, not at all. No, your eyes are very appreciated and helpful. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm learning, but I love to get perspective from the people who are those of you that are watching, because it really helps me. Now we are just seeing what we can do. Oh, we still have half an hour left. This is good. So, again, I don't want to get too crazy with the details and then go overboard. But I need kind of maybe, wonder if, let's try this brush. This brush is kind of like it's for doing, whoops, it's not focusing. It's for doing, there you can see. It is, oh, you might hear thunder in the background. I hear thunder. It's for doing landscape work, like bushes and grass, but I think it could work really well here. So yeah, I think it is better. Exactly. That's actually what I love about Mondays, because I get to, the rest of the time I'm in the studio by myself, and but I really appreciate Mondays because I get to come and hang out with y'all, and like several of you are artists in your own right, and so it really is nice to be able to hang out and yeah, I think we'll put some more texture in here. That will be good. Kind of. Now I want to come in with the burnt umber and put in some I hear some thunder. Yeah, I think this is a good tool here. Oop, boom. As long as we don't get any hail. That's the main thing. Let's not have any hail. Okay, I don't want to do too much. Ooh. Now, we'll do different layers of these whiskers, basically. All right, a few more minutes, but we're getting pretty close. I'm pretty happy with him. I do want to do where is my, there it is, burnt umber. Want a little bit more of that. If I thin it way out, then we can do okay. Okay, I like the way his fur is looking. Now, what I want to do is come over and take, again, some dark, the darkest colors we have. Establish his little nose. And also some fur right along his jawline. I think that's helpful. Little fat rolls. And then we need to put just a dot of this right there on his eye. Now, I think the other thing I want to do is go in with some yellow ochre. Almost pure yellow ochre with white. And I want to go in to put in some contrast on the side of his nose. These creatures are everywhere in Big Sur country. Yes. Yes, they are. I'm taking this yellow and putting it very sparsely along some places. Just to really highlight his these spots where the light is hitting him. I just don't want to do too much. There we go. Now he shines bright like a diamond. Although that's... Okay. This is the common attribute between them and I. Don't like to do much besides painting. Oh, I love it. Yes. I'm the same. I love painting. I wish I could just spend all day doing it. Maybe someday. Someday. Okay. Just a little bit more. We're almost done. We have 5 minutes to wrap this bad boy up. There. I think we pretty much got it. All right, y'all, I really love him. I think that's good enough for me. Okay, I'm going to call this one done. I could keep dinking around with it forever, but I'm probably going to go back and do another layer of the background, but that would take us another 10 minutes, and so I want to end on time. So let me turn my phone around. Whoops, sorry. Switch you back there. And then turn my phone around so that I don't make all of y'all sick. And we'll call it good. All right. Let's do that. And we'll put him away. Put that away. All right, y'all. So here we are. This is, oh, there we are. Final painting for this evening. I think it turned out really well. It makes me happy. This is one of the better ones I've done in a while. So thank you as always for joining me. I'm so grateful that you have. We will be back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. But until then, I want to say a very happy, a very good night to you. I hope that your week goes well. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week here on another episode of the Paint Party Livestream. Until then, have a great week and good night.